When NASA prepares a spacecraft to fly to a faraway planet to hunt for signs of life, it's important not to inadvertently send microorganisms from Earth along on the journey.
Many spacecraft are assembled and launched from the Kennedy Space Center that are going to planetary bodies in the solar system life might be present on, which we don't want to contaminate with terrestrial microorganisms, for example, Mars.
The Dust Atmospheric Recovery Technology, or DART, is an innovation being developed by Sugar at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It's designed to collect airborne dust, bacteria, and fungi in the atmosphere that can be returned to the lab for analysis. The results will make it easier to predict levels of dust and microbial contamination on spacecraft surfaces during payload processing and when the spacecraft are on launch pads. This knowledge also could help bolster Florida's agriculture industry against exotic airborne pathogens.
For example, if we find a very large abundance of plant pathogens that come into Florida each year on the dust storms, then the state and federal agriculture regulatory organizations may get involved in making recommendations to farmers to help mitigate problems that they might encounter from this influx of pathogens.
Some microbes are native to Florida, but others arrive each year in the plumes of vast dust storms that blow across the Atlantic Ocean from the western shores of Africa. As winds blow over the ground, all the microorganisms at the surface and up to about 5,000 feet above the ground get thoroughly mixed together. Scientists needed a way to differentiate between what's normal for Florida and what's carried in on the wind from Africa.
But by placing this dust collection system on an aircraft that can fly above that, we can separate the locally mixed turbulent air from the dust that may be coming over from Africa.
The Florida Space Grant Consortium, Florida Space Institute, and the Emerging Pathogens Institute at the University of Florida in Gainesville all have helped fund the project, and both NASA and the U.S. Geological Survey have participated in the research. DART is designed to attach to any type of aircraft or helicopter. The aircraft carries DART into the air, where the device will take air samples and catch microbes in onboard filters. The system is controlled by the scientist who is in the cockpit during the flight.
This is actuating one of the doors on the nose cone. It opens, and as soon as that door opens, of course the pump is on.
For its first two test flights in 2013, DART was mounted to the underside of a wing on a high-performance jet called the F-104 Starfighter, based at Kennedy Space Center.
That was a high-altitude, high-speed test, but a lot of our science is to collect dust very low in the atmosphere, and we needed a slower, more versatile aircraft for low-altitude flying. So we have also, in 2014, flown over a dozen hours on an aircraft called a T-6 Texan.
DART passed its test with flying colors. Its mechanical system, including the controller and pump, worked as expected, and the team collected microorganisms at a variety of altitudes. The filters then were processed in the laboratory. These successful operational flights have helped establish a background of microorganisms in Florida without the presence of African dust. This sets the stage for upcoming flights into the dust plumes later this year.
The next series of objectives for DART will be to do systematic flights into the dust plumes that arrive in Florida from Africa between mid-July and mid-September.
Sugar plans to gather years' worth of data before, during, and after the annual dust storms in order to create a database that will help NASA and Florida agriculture better understand and plan for what's in the air above.